And we are going live. All right, and we are live. What's up, everybody? My name is Peter. I'm one of the founders of Dronies here, as well as one of the partners at Unfold. And we are the team behind Dronies. And so we just kind of want to do a little hangout with everybody, intro you to the team that's been working on this, and get to know y'all and show you some behind the scenes stuff and some cool things happening and answer some questions along the way. So we've got a crew here, so I'll do a little intro to everybody here on the team and get to know everybody. So in order of at least what I see on my screen, let me switch it up to what I see on Dave's here, because he's the one running OBS for us. So we've got Courtney over here. She's been our lead illustrator on this project, and as we were dialing in some concepts of what we were doing and where we wanted to take this, we really locked on to some of the stuff that she was working on, and then our whole team has helped carry that through. So go check us out on Dribbble too. Check us out, dribbble.com/unfold, and you can see all the members of our team and see all the cool design work that we do, and yeah, see more of that. Courtney's been posting a bunch of Drony stuff recently too, so really cool. Next up, we have Dave. So Dave is our project director, and he has been managing and overseeing all of the things for the past 5 months now, as we've been working on this project. And so he's the taskmaster that's responsible to whip us into shape when we need, make sure just all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, spearheading everything that we're doing. So awesome. Next up, we've got Jordan. Jordan is our brand creative director, and so he and the team spearheaded a lot of the brand work that you are going to see, and more to be revealed, which I'm not going to get into yet because that would give away spoilers. And I think ironically, one of our web guys, I think Iker, took the first punch at the Dronies logo, and
he did, yeah.
That really stuck. And so I think we tried to modify it and change it. We made a little tweak, but that's part of the fun, and we never know where creativity comes from and who comes up with what. We've had brand and product designers help in team sessions come up with team logos, and it's cool seeing how that works. I'm also going to give my dog a bone so he stops screeching if you guys hear that. All right, next up is me. I've already done myself. And then next we have Moss. Moss is our community manager. So most of you will be interacting with her a bunch through Discord and on Twitter. She manages all that stuff, and is constantly working with Dave and Iker, who, man, if you want to jump in here, hop in the stream. They've been spearheading a lot of the story with Iker and Evan that really helped pioneer where our universe was going in this project. And we'll get into more of the story and all the stuff we're building soon. And then we've got Vic, looking at two different videos. We've got Eddie, who's got the green screen over here. And Eddie is the founder of Unfold and one of the founders of the Dronies project. And if you're coming over here from Dribbble, you know Eddie. And we're super happy to have all of his amazing talents on this project. You're gonna see some just stupidly good sketches that I always say it irritates me how good they are because I can't do it. And it's just really fun when you get to see those start to come to life and how everything works out. Next up, we've got David, who's our other partner at Unfold and founder of the Dronies project. Again, working with us on a lot of the illustration stuff, and Eddie and David are doing a ton of that. We've all been working on the website together, and there's so many moving pieces on this. There's very few people at Unfold that have not touched this project as we built out products for it, merchandise, branding, web, illustration, just kind of all the things. So we've been having a blast with this, and it's fun to start to share it and get stuff out there. And then next up, we've got Bo, who is also one of the lead illustrators on this project and has been pioneering so much. When we're going to zoom it out so we don't give it away, but when everybody sees all the variants that are going into this project and all the cool things, and just a credit to Courtney and Vic and Bo, the ability for multiple team members to come in and work on a project of this scale and keep the consistency and styling and coordinating and talking, amongst themselves and the team nonstop to make sure everything like looks cohesive and is really dialed in. It's just been really awesome to see. So amazingly talented people. Again, go check out Bo and Vic here up next. Go check them out on Dribbble, see some of the work that they do. These three lovely people help us out with all of the illustrations, not just on this project, but for client projects as well. So really, really good. And then before we jump into anything, just want to give some shout outs to some folks that we know or have seen in chats recently. Alan, I saw you comment on the Loom video the other day. Our buddy, we've got Josh McCrae, Ryan Slater, Ronald Reagan. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. And we've also got Sloggett. Good to see you, man. We still got to get together for coffee. I'm going to try to get up to Denver maybe next week. So let's chat. Mike, good to see you, and more. So yeah, without further ado, just to kind of kick off, I'll pass it around to some people to show some different things about the project and talk about what it is that we're doing. But if you have any questions along the way and you want to ask stuff, go ahead and throw it in either in Discord or in the live chat here on YouTube, and we'll keep an eye on that. And we'll try to answer some questions along the way. But maybe, why don't we start it off with Dave, you want to walk us through maybe kind of high level, how did some of this start, and what's maybe coming down, and we'll pass it around.
Yeah, do you want like the original story or just the Figma file? Where do you want to start?
Yeah, I think we have to like take a step back sometimes, because we've built out such an expansive universe that I was thinking about this last night. We had to pare down so much because we kept confusing ourselves at points, because there were so many things going on and pathways. And yeah, I'm gonna pause there. But yeah, let's start maybe with where we're at now in the storyline. What do we know? We won't give away spoilers because we want people to enjoy the mystery and whatnot. But yeah, how did this come about?
Yeah, so about, I think 5 months ago, we've all been jokingly around talking about birds not being real and looking for a project for Unfold to take on. And one thing led to another, and all of a sudden we have Dronies as a brand, and we started working on different sketches. And let me share my screen here. We started working on like different stylescapes, just kind of figuring out what does that
We're not seeing your screen if you switched it over yet.
Well, yeah. Well, you should be able to. Oh, you guys don't see it. I see. Hold up.
Okay, it's not showing up on my end on
right.
Stream,
Hold up. All right, there you go. There you go. So yeah, we've started figuring out what does the Drony universe look like? Where do they live? What does the universe, what does the world look like? And essentially, the idea here is that the birds have been slowly replaced over time, and there's a few characters. One of them is Stuart, who's been working with Aegis, which is a kind of organization that oversees the world, kind of like a world order type of thing. And they're seeing these things happening across the world as like there's birds, they're not real, they're surveilling us for some reason, where they come from, who made them. And so Stuart starts to figure out and starts finding connections between things, and that's where we started. And so one of the inspirations was like WandaVision and the TVA from the Loki series, kind of like that kind of vibe. And we started there and kind of continue on with like different ideas here and there. But we started with very simple sketches over here. We've had so many different ideas of what the Drony could look like. I think Courtney, Bo, David, and Eddie have been working really hard in the first few months to kind of like figure out what does a Drony look like, what does a customized Drony look like, right? Like how do the traits work, how do they, everything's kind of working together, and like all sorts of like cute sketches, kind coming from everyone on the team. And this is just like a very small sneak peek of everything that we've done, just to kind of explore what does Droney, how are they shaped? Are they shaped differently or the same? Is this the same template that they all share? And then we started exploring the idea of like maybe it's just the profile headshot that we see there, and this set is probably like the first Dronies that we've started playing around with and kind of trying to figure out what a traits list system looks like. What are the kind of customizations? We had like all sorts of different like eye patches and eye styles and hats and headgear that we've kind of drew at first, and then we started exploring even more over here, kind of exploring different maybe body shapes, and that kind of led one thing to another. And over here we have like completely different kinds of Dronies. There's like this Coca-Cola one that's super cool. And this is like very early exploration of like different body shapes. But well, we also had like this idea, this very ambitious idea of having utterly completely different
we had to rein ourselves in quick
yeah, we
here.
had to rein ourselves in because this was overly ambitious, just having like all sorts of like where's the yeah, there you go, like different kinds of like maybe a duck has its own duck shape, chicken has its own chicken shape, and every single trait maybe is customized for each head, but it's became like overly ambitious. We had to like
to pause there for a second. The difficulty with that for anybody that's not familiar with how you build a generative collection is that with each of these different head and beak shapes, the challenge then would have become, let's say we wanted to do eyes as sunglasses or angry eyes, happy eyes, etc. Due to the different head shapes, sizings, etc., we would have had to have, I mean, as is, the DNP list is very robust, and the database for that, it would have been just massively overly complicated because we would have had to recreate every hat, eyes, etc. for each different bird type. So it would have been like, hat crow, or sunglasses crow, sunglasses toucan, sunglasses chicken. And we ended up making some modifications to where we could have a more uniformed body that would simplify.
I think this is
process.
Where we came up with like, okay, what is the body type that kind of brings everything in? Maybe it's a body type that has chicken and duck, beaks in the same spot, but the general shape can't portray any kind of Droney. So that's what we're kind of landing on for the thing. And we've been sketching a lot of like different like one-of-ones and kind of what
here's those irritating Eddie sketches.
Yeah, Eddie has been just like, this is like less than 5 minutes of his work. Just one of those. He's insanely good at sketching out different things. So yeah, what else? We've been playing around with like different styles, like this Droney, and once we get to the modern version, the current version, like it's gonna be looking completely drastic with what we came up with. We're also thinking about like different maybe cards, use a card game, and what would that look like. We'll also been playing around, this is again very early exploration of like what does body of a Droney look like, and here's some examples of that. Super cool ideas here, and what kind of this is so cool, like what kind of wings do they have? Like, is it an airplane? Are they completely dronified like a drone or not? So yeah, these are like our early explorations. And if I may, I'll follow Jordan, and you can maybe talk about like different branding explorations that we did early on.
Yeah, maybe before we switch into the gears of that, Moss, do you want to pull a question or two or a couple questions over from the community? I see some stuff in Discord, and then we can cycle back and forth.
Sure. I do see that Evan left a comment about defining DNP. Not everybody knows what that is.
Yeah, sorry. We've lived in this world and gone down the rabbit hole. So DNP stands for do not pair. So for example, there might be a combination of items that have the possibility of being randomly generated, but the reality is that they look really funky together. It just doesn't work. And there might even be kind of one of those in one of these examples.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something.
Yeah.
Like maybe
but-
this head like overtakes the chicken and doesn't really work, and et cetera.
Yeah, because everything has to be layered. So basically,
Mhm.
we're creating a sequence of, I don't know, what are we at, like 14, 15 layers?
We have 21 layer.
Okay, 20, yeah. Not complicated at all.
No.
So we have 21 layers, and we should say tell Sergey it's 22, just freak him out a little bit. And so out of those 21 layers, it's literally, I'm just gonna grab some things on my desk. It's literally just kind of having like the background, and then the body comes in front of that, and then the next item, and they just layer in sequence with each other. So there's certain things that might, look funny. Like maybe there's feathers on the top of a head that stick out behind a certain hat, and that looks funny. So we would switch it and say, never pair head type A with, baseball.
With a hat, yeah.
Yeah,
With
and
all sorts
then-
of things, yeah.
Yeah, so we have, literally thousands of those combinations that we identify and we test, and we do our generations to figure out what items don't work well together. And at the same time, we can also pick certain items that we want to ensure always go together, because it's either meant to, intentional, it looks really good or whatnot. So we have spent a lot of hours clicking a refresh button and generating new dronies, and finding those tiny little flaws, and then either we go into Figma here and make the edits and adjustments, and then either tweak it so it works, or we just identify something and go, this doesn't work well, add it to the DNP list or do not pair list. And then we don't have to worry about that in the generation again. So it helps us do color combinations and things like that. And a lot of that desire, just to give a shout out to our friends at Grim Syndicate, I think did one of the best jobs with their collection, where, Justin Mazel, we're longtime friends with him and big fans of his work. And he's a master at color theory and application. And they did an excellent job at creating a DNP list for their collection to ensure that everything looked good. The color combinations always work really well. And because of it, you have a set now of 10,000 Grims that all look really, really good. It's hard pressed to find a generative one that you're like, I don't like the look of that. It all looks really, really good. And a lot of that comes down to kind of just the time and, blood, sweat, and tears of working on the DNP list to dial that in. So that's been really, really important for us.
Awesome, yeah. But yeah, Jordan, if you want to take away with branding and showcasing that. And I want to say this is a very small sneak peek. We have like
This is like
Yeah.
5% of the actual stuff.
Well, I was going to say, we have how many files? Maybe 7 files, 15 Slack channels, because Dave loves Slack channels. So it expands like everywhere. And, so like just looking at this stuff now, everything to the right, as you can see, there's no kind of set visual kind of style there. We were just exploring anything and everything, all different ideas, all different styles, all different kind of illustration styles, just to kind of get everything out there before we kind of narrowed it down. As you can imagine, once we kind of began kind of building out the web stuff as well as branding, we were starting to see some sort of like patches there of, we don't have this kind of distinct style and it doesn't kind of align with the story. So that's where we jumped into generating kind of mood boards. If you're unfamiliar with mood boards, we call them starscapes. They're essentially glorified mood boards. But we're just kind of using these as references, bringing in all different kind of images and assets around the web to really kind of define that and dial in that kind of style moving forward. So as Dave kind of mentioned, taking inspiration from all these different Marvel shows. We have Stranger Things as well. Trying to find if we want to set the storyline as more of a kind of retro feel or more kind of modern. So just using these kind of defining the style as well as kind of logo directions here. This was something personally for me that was so fun. It was kind of getting to work on all these different factions.
Well,
Some of you might not be feeling. I know.
know.
I'm gonna reel it in. I don't want you to crack the whip, but I'm just gonna mention this. You'll find out soon enough. But we got to work on some of these, and I dropped in one that you will be familiar with, which is Talent Corp. So it's kind of a different approach to how we generally do our branding here
Nice,
at
Dave.
Unfold. Yeah, I seen that, Dave. But we got to kind of work with just the storyline. So, we had information that was kind of built around Ica, Evan. Evan did a really great job at kind of building out this storyline for each different faction here. So it was fun kind of exploring with all the brand team. And like Peter mentioned early on, it wasn't just the brand team. We kind of work in collaboration across Unfold. So we had Ica, who's the web designer, do the Dronies logo, as well as everyone was kind of jumping in. And you'll just see some of the kind of exploration here early on, some of the kind of first different kind of concepts and ideation we're kind of running through before kind of landing on the final mark, which all will be revealed soon for most of
Yeah,
these.
and I think to what Jordan teased before, the fun of this and where we've been telling people this isn't just a PFP collection and it's going to release and then it's done and it's just something that lives on the markets. We're really looking to build an IP out of this, or a full brand that is going to continue on. And so think of it like a TV series where we're about to release season 1, but we've already written seasons 2, 3, and 4. And we also, there's not a perfect analogy, but it's kind of like when show writers have a character on the show and they're like, hey, we're not sure if people are going to love or hate this character. So depending on how they're received, that's going to change the storyline. We have the same kind of thing, depending on how you all as the community gravitate towards certain things in the story. We've already written the paths as to how that will change the whole thing, or if a certain storyline will be introduced before another based on where people are going or what clues they're finding out. All of that is preset and ready to go. So we didn't just design and build around season 1. Everything's in the hopper and ready to go and ready for the excitement and release of the next stuff. So it's really, really fun in that way. And again, we want this to be a really awesome project with a super solid foundation, great artwork, a good team behind this. What we can build from it is kind of limitless because we are a team. And this is the kind of stuff that we do all day for clients. We can build products and apps and games and all these things. So we're already working on concepts for a lot of these things. And you'll notice our roadmap is intentionally not specifying what, because new technologies are coming out in the Web3 space. Do we purchase a plot of land in the metaverse? Do we build an app? Do we build a video game? Do we build a VR experience? Do we build a card game, a board game? We want to see what you guys are looking for and what our community is excited about, but we can make any of that stuff. And so we're really excited to see where this goes and what we can do. So anything else you got, Jordan?
I think that's it. I mean, I don't want to say anything else just in case I leak something. I feel like Tom Holland now kind of leaks everything with the Spider-Man. So
let's maybe answer some questions that we've been getting.
Let's do it. Moss, you want to hit us with another question?
Sure. We got a question from Crypto Mountains. They asked, what has been the biggest challenge / obstacle that the team has encountered thus far?
There's so many
fiasco.
I think probably the mint fiasco. Not a fiasco. I wouldn't call it that.
Yeah.
But this Monday we've been struck with news that the bots have overtaken the Solana network and are basically are allowed to reign free right now. So that puts us on a different timeline unfortunately. But it's also good for us because we can engage more with the community and kind of bring more people in. But also from the art and tech point of view, we can flush it out, have more time for QA and whatnot. So yeah.
And if you didn't catch any of that, check out our press releases or our announcements channel, and we did a video walking through what's going on. And in short, we just decided we're ready to launch at the original date. However, it's just not safe because it doesn't guarantee everybody a fair playing field to get the most rare items in the collection because of what these bots are able to do. And so until that's resolved, it just feels irresponsible to launch, ahead of time. But outside of that, I would say probably the biggest thing might have been actually just getting the artwork style down. And maybe we can pass that to the illustrators after a couple more questions here and we can talk about that. But that took a long time. We probably spent a month and a half.
I would say 2
dialing
months.
it in.
We were still like a few weeks ago been kind of like playing around with like different colors and variations and glows. Yeah, it's been an ongoing thing. So yeah, the style is definitely one of the challenges.
That's a definite big one. And then let's see, a couple of folks asking. So somebody mentioned, why don't I have the early bird role? So let's talk about that. We want to run a really clean project, have a really awesome community and foundation here. And so I say this with like, this is just the way we're doing it, and not that anybody else is right or wrong or whatnot, but we want to build a community of people that are excited about this project, that are really engaged. And so just being one of the first 100 people in a Discord or, followers on Twitter or whatnot, it's easy to slap a follow and then never participate and, partake in that community. So what we're looking for, and to kind of, spill some of the beans, is just engagement. And that could just be being active and in chat and talking with the community in Discord. That could be participating in some of the, meme contests, art contests, just interact with us on social, things like that, share it to a friend, whatever. But we want to stay away from the like, hey, tag 2 friends, like and follow, retweet this. We don't want to do that kind of stuff. We would rather have a smaller community of awesome people than a larger community, but most of them are checked out. We care more about the quality of our friends than the quantity. I would always rather be surrounded by a smaller group of awesome individuals I can count on than just know 1,000 people. So that's kind of the thing. So if you're here, and I know, I think it's Drac and Dration, we've seen you, like, keep doing what you're doing. You're going to be there. So if anyone's interested in how to get involved, do that. Partake in Twitter, partake in the Discord, just be an awesome person, and we got you, and you'll be a part of that. But we're not going to reward somebody just simply for joining the Discord and then checking on it every month here and there. So we want to find people that are as excited as we are. And then, sorry, I'm getting attacked by my copper bullet over here. Right to the jugular. And then let's see.
We do have another question. Orlando wants to know how big our collection is.
Yeah. So we are looking at a collection of 10,000. And we are also working on, within that, a large collection, probably one of the larger ones, of custom dronies as well. So kind of as you might have seen some sketches for like a Predator droney and Terminator and things like that. And we'll sneak a couple of them here in the stream. We got a lot of that going on. So beyond just some of the rare traits, there are some freaking cool custom one-of-one dronies in this collection. That's gonna be really neat. And then I think one more question, and then we can get into the next thing, would be kind of what's the backstory of the Solana decision and how that came about. So where that came from.
Come back first, then talk.
Yeah, sorry. Little guy's just sitting here attacking me down under the desk. Let me get my camera back on too. Come on. Boba, did you break my camera? All right, anyways, I will just chat and I'll try to get that working again. So
Picking up by
we do a lot
Jody.
of, yeah, we do a lot of work in the web space or Web3 space. We've worked with clients like Facebook and Ripple and FutureSwap and Solana. And so when we were early on talking about this project and looking into all the research of how we wanted to launch, what chain and whatnot, Solana was just kind of poking up in the NFT space at the time. And so I just reached out to Raj, who's one of the co-founders of Solana, in our Slack, since we're connected in there from our projects. And I was like, hey, can we talk to somebody about this? And anyone on your team that could share some more information as to why we might want to choose Solana versus, let's say, Ethereum. And in typical Raj fashion, he's like, let me see the artwork. Like, yeah, I'll tell you all the things. Let me see the artwork. And so we showed him some of the early concepts and he was like, holy cow, this is cool. Give me a minute. And a few minutes later, we were chatting with a bunch of people from the Solana team and, learning about the capabilities and some differences of what we can do, on the Solana network. And there's some cool technical things that we can do as well that aren't as possible on other chains. Obviously the difference in transaction fees and gas and whatnot. And, they were really pumped on the artwork and, they're really committed, as you guys have all seen from just their activity in the Solana NFT ecosystem, to, have awesome projects in there. And so they wanted to partner up and work together on this. And so we've been getting their help and assistance and consulting throughout the project. And, we've got the support of their legal team. So when we talk about things like what kind of mechanics and utilities and can we do royalties and what stuff falls into securities, like we are able to vet all those things through their legal team and have that help and support. And so it's been a really awesome, opportunity to work together and hopefully build one of the great projects in the Solana space. And then, yeah, I think that gets through most of the question. I think I got through all the questions on Discord. So why don't we pass it over, maybe Courtney, and you can walk us through some more illustration stuff. Maybe Dave, you can share and observe.
Sure. Yeah. What do we want to look at? I can kind of go into some more detail on kind of what Dave started to highlight earlier, just on the process of figuring out how to build dronies. I think honestly, one of the biggest challenges comes in just not only, figuring out the art style, but in how we wanted to build them. When we first started out, we wanted to focus on having really beautiful art and also having a lot of variety. So I know, you saw kind of all the different versions of the different types of heads. And we talked a lot about like the actual system they would be built on. So you can kind of see these early, super early sketches of just literally trying to block out the pieces we wanted to include. I didn't think any of us realized exactly how quickly this was going to get so complicated. As we started out, we were like, oh, we'll just build a tail, a body, some wings, and a head, and then we're golden, right? But we quickly realized to have any variety, it quickly gets really complicated. So as you can see, there's like a bunch of little goofy sketches of just us kind of trying to figure out what we wanted a droney to look like. We've got some really cartoony styles, which is, where I kind of always start out. And then we've got some really cool geometric styles from Bo, just kind of, again, exploring that style, what that looks like, and then trying to figure out how the system itself is built. So I feel like that was one of the biggest challenges early on of just figuring out kind of the scope we wanted to go with, how complicated we wanted the art style to be. I know we kind of took a glance at this earlier of where we kind of started. Where are they? This is kind of the first style we started with, which we kept trying to figure out what to name it, but we couldn't quite land on anything. I kept thinking like early comic book style, kind of just really flat and like really bold colors, and trying to figure out, what does the droney look like? How in depth do we want the style to be? And we quickly realized, as we get into this, whatever style we pick, we have to make for, 10,000 variants. We have to make for every object. And so that took us a long time, I would say, to figure out the style. We went with this for a long time, and then it kind of started built out. We've got some Eddie specials down here of just, figuring out even colors. We focused on colors for a really long time. Jordan is our awesome color expert and really spent a long time figuring out what that looks like. Trying to figure out, what kind of body shapes do we have? Do we change out the heads, which you've kind of seen some of that happening a little bit with little variations. But again, you can see how our brains start to break the more we do it, trying to figure out how all of these complex systems can work together. If we start changing the heads, how do we make the hats? How do they all fit on top of each other? And just this really exciting world of variation after variation after variation. So I promise you there's been so much work going into the art style. Just again, trying to figure out what we even present. Do we do the full body? All the fun things. Dave kind of highlighted on a lot of this earlier. Any other specific
Courtney,
things to highlight?
Could I touch on one thing? What was, because it reminded me as well of the question that someone asked, like what was one of the challenges? I want to say it's the greatest challenge, but something that we encountered, and we kind of encountered it a little bit into like when we're already starting to create some of these, like assets, variations, like different hat types, different glasses types, was little slight issues with alignment. And that's something that we had to go back in and like fix on a good handful of things, and it's just crazy. Like there's like these tiny little things that you wouldn't think would be a problem. And they end up being a problem. Like if you look, like, I don't know if you could show like an example, Courtney, like I
was gonna say like a lot of variations. I mean, these are obviously like so drastically different, but like if we had, like we would duplicate this head and take the feathers off and then we put a hat on and it wouldn't align, or like a strap that goes around the head and it would mess up because one has a feather and one doesn't. There's all these like subtle, really tiny differences that you wouldn't think would be a big deal, but add so much complexity to the art. For sure.
And these could be like little 1 pixel difference, like the shadow on one hat could be a pixel off on a different type of head. And
like we can already see it happening here.
Yeah, you can see the shadow there. Like that's a no-go. We're not going to let that fly. And so we had to come up with a system like to make sure that we don't have to manually go in there and fix every shadow. And like, so like there was a lot of kind of like revamping. We had to create like a universal template that we had to follow to the pixel to make sure that everything is as crispy as possible.
And how many times do we have to update that template and then redo everything?
Gosh, it was so funny. Yeah, it was a fun challenge. I think figuring out, I mean, creating like the art style and everything, that's a blast. And creating these assets and, creating one-of-ones, which we got some pretty sick ones, not gonna lie. That's so fun. But to me, I like really enjoyed like figuring out like these little indiscrepancies, like problem solving, like, oh snap, these eyes don't look good on this. How do we solve that?
And like look at the owl and the sunglasses here. Like that owl would have to be layered to where the base of the head is one layer, then the eyes are another, and then that top part that overlays the eyes would have to be another layer on top. Or in the case of that beak, like those sunglasses are broken into 2 layers, that if a certain beak is used, it switches to one that overlays, so that way it works well. So I mean, there's so much that you almost can't realize until you build it and then go, oh, this doesn't work, so how do I reverse engineer a solution to make it work well?
Right. I feel like that's been another big challenge of just figuring out the layering stuff. Even once we like nailed down the style, nailed down what we're going to show, it's figuring out like what's the most natural way to lay all these things. Like, does the vest cover the wing, or should it be under the wing, or should the glasses be in front of the beak or behind? Or there's so much more that goes into it than I think any of us realized until we really started diving in.
Especially with this 2/3 kind of angle that we're going for, that we went with, like a lot of people, when they do these collections, they do like head on, straight head on or to the side, which is really easy. But we have, like the eyes go under the beak. And so there's a lot of layering that we have to figure out. But I think with that, like kind of a little like touch of complexity to the angle of these birds, really like, are these really generated? Like, because they seem like they're kind of built like each custom, but they're, I think we found like this little nugget of gold in the angle and like the art style to really make these seem like they're handcrafted.
Yeah, I think it adds a lot to it for sure.
I mean, all of them everything is handcrafted.
Oh, well,
That's true.
Yeah, it's
when they're generated, like
Yep.
like they're each individual. Yeah, it's cool. It's been a blast.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's been really fun, and even just the early explorations, which like we'll never use any of this, but like just playing around with like what does a turkey look like, what is a just all these different fun variations, it's just really fun to look back and kind of see how far we've come.
Well, and I remember these early iterations too. There was a while where we were like, okay, we're getting really, really close, and one of the key things for us that like it clicked was locking down eyes. Because I remember we were going like, there's something like it was emotion that was lacking. And once we started to introduce eyes, it gave personality. Because even here you see like, okay, one's being silly, one's kind of sad here. If you go over to the left, like they can feel more hopeful or cheery or whatnot. And, this one looks angry with the eyes. Like that was kind of that breakthrough point that I think allowed us to start to see the possibilities of where everything could go. And we started to get that connection to the characters because it brought them to life. And that was really, really fun to see. And then,
yeah,
going
I think
through a bunch
our
of old
super
ones
early
here.
versions like didn't. I was trying to find like the very first one. Like we didn't really we had more like robot looking eyes, and there was basically no emotion. And it was like, well, what's the tie-in? What draws people into these characters? What fills out the world of Dronies? And I feel like, yeah, you're right. The eyes definitely added like a ton to that, just giving them a little bit of personality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where the other ones were, but
Yeah. Well, and let us know if anyone else has more questions, and then maybe do we want to sneak some stuff? I know we put some stuff off to the side.
Yeah.
By the way, this file has been curated for the stream, so this is
right.
not anything. This is just what we want you guys to see. Trust.
It doesn't give anything away.
Yeah.
And then,
we have like 40 files. There's a lot of stuff here. This is what we want you to see.
Yeah, we have to keep making new files because the files have so many layers and stuff going on that just we've hit the limits of Figma of what it can do.
Yeah.
I open that illustration file and my MacBook turns into a Droney. It takes off.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So a little bit of sneak peek. This is where currently Dronies are at, and we're still working on a little bit details, making sure everything's tweaked. But this is how the final art, everything assembled, looks like.
And these are real generative like combos that we've just been testing and have kind of naturally come up with. So these are really cool.
Yeah. So amazing job by our team. It's just incredible to see all these like 21 layers with like multiple sets where like eyes not even on the same layer, but they're spread out throughout like different layers just to make sure that maybe the beak is over the glasses and this left glass is on top. It's insane. I can kind of sneak peek the amount of layers that we have here. It's just like insane. Just like go and disable all of them, just like so you can see how many things we have. Just like behind the scenes, what does it take?
Right. And that's not even all of them. Those are just the ones that got generated in that particular item.
Right. So yeah, it's insane amount of work. Yeah.
Well, and then we haven't gotten Bo, Eddie, and David yet to chatter, so maybe they can kind of walk us through some of the customs that we've got here at the end too.
Yeah.
As Vic hypes them up over there.
Wants to show him. All right, I'll just show him. So we have few customs in here. And if you can remember that.
No, let him show. Let him show.
Okay.
Super early? What?
No, they're jumping in. Let them go.
Okay. Wait, jumping. What's going on?
I zoom in one at a time.
Okay, one at a time. Sorry, my bad. All right.
But Eddie, Vic, or Eddie, Bo, and David could share some of these. Unless Bo's like, I don't want to do it.
Talk about the one of ones, baby. What?
See, Bo's been on the stream, but he's been working on the other one of ones during the stream.
Yeah, he probably is.
Yeah, I am actually. I wasn't really paying attention. The one-on-ones. Yeah, I'm not sure how much we're going for. I think we're shooting for about 100, if that's correct. I mean,
we're gonna get through as many as we can. I think we're sitting somewhere around 40 to 50 at the moment. So yeah.
It's roughly around there right now. But yeah, these are gonna be like the special ones, like that really stand out and have unique features to them. We're doing some retro stuff too, and some Easter eggs from like referencing video games and just pop culture. I don't know if we're showing those right now, but
we got a couple in here that we can walk through.
And this is a samurai one. Yeah, let's go maybe to the next one.
Yeah, I'm always like shocked that like I do some sketches and Peter and the guys are like getting ideas together. I do some sketches and I'm always like mind blown how these turn out, because after that, Bo, Vic, Courtney, and everyone else takes over, and these are like always better than I'm expecting.
Ninja Droney. And these ones aren't like generated from random assets. These we're going in the illustration team and we're kind of creating these fully custom. So
yeah,
I'm seeing the one that Bo is working on right now. Holy cow, that's super cool. I was gonna grab a couple of the sketches so people can kind of see some of the things.
Oh man,
a few over here too. But yeah, we can walk through a couple of these, and we're showing you a small collection and leaving a lot to be teased. So just know that there's going to be more surprises than this, and some really fun things going on. But here, if you want to poke over to the side, Dave, you can see some of Eddie's sketches that we're utilizing. So we've got like a Dwight Schrute bird, Mecha here. We got Marty from Back to the Future. Just coloring those trees, guys. Just nice and cool.
It's my first time seeing the Bob Ross. That's so good.
Yes, can't forget, can't leave Bob Ross out. He's a legend.
Hey, what's up, Hawk? Good to see you, buddy. Well, cool. Yeah, let's see. Let us know if anyone has any other questions and anything else that we can answer. Otherwise, we'll start wrapping up for today, and we're gonna get back into getting on all of this stuff. And I think Moss dropped something as well. Really appreciate everybody being here. And again, this is the activity, engagement, and excitement that we're looking for. So drop your Twitter handles, and Moss will reach out and get you all on the early bird list. And we'll get you in there. And I don't know, why don't we set a cutoff for that of like the next 30 minutes so people can't just watch the replay and hop in. And we'll get you added there. Oh, Anatoly's got a droney coming out soon. You'll see that one. That'll be really fun. It's all his full scuba theme and whatnot. We've got a fun one for Raj as well. So lots of cool stuff. And again, we're super pumped about this. This has been the time of our life, getting to build something and have it be our own, exactly the way we want to do it. It's it's not for clients, and we're just really excited to build a community and continue to expand the Dronies universe and introduce more of the storyline and whatnot. Work together with the community to figure out what do we want to build next and what are we most excited about for us to create. And just really pumped for the next couple of weeks. And we're going to continue working on more one-of-ones in this extended time period now, continuing to lock down and just QA artwork even further, and work on some awesome pairings and whatnot, and do more community engagement and involvement. So excited to keep chatting with everybody. Love hanging out with everyone in Discord and getting to know folks. And we'll start doing these regularly, and we'll probably do these ongoing with the community, not just about Dronies, but I know we have a big design community here, so we've talked about doing some kind of portfolio critiques and help with other people on NFT projects and share what we've learned over the last couple of months, because we sure as heck have made a good amount of mistakes, which have helped us learn and, improve our processes and whatnot. And we want to help others succeed. So we'd love to help anybody else that's trying to do this kind of stuff as well. Yeah, well, we'll give it another minute and let us know if anyone else has questions. Otherwise, we'll wrap up for today, and we'll see you all again soon. Anybody else, anyone here wants to shout out or say?
I just want to say thanks to everyone who's been engaging with our story since the beginning. It's been amazing to just role play with you guys, and it's insane to have multiple characters talking with each other on Twitter, but also you guys engaging and just talking with us. It's been amazing. It's been a blast. Just super fun seeing all that just with literally day one. So thank you.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Well, hey, thank you everybody for tuning in. Really excited to keep hanging out and getting to know everybody. And I think we're doing another stream tomorrow. We're going to hang out, play some games. Maybe we can get some of the community in there too and just have a good time. We like to play Among Us as a team, and it's hilarity that ensues because Jordan here is like Sherlock Holmes in that game and knows all the questions to ask. And I don't know, we do it a lot of time on Fridays. It's really fun. So we'll have a good time tomorrow. We'll hang out. We'll answer some more questions. And excited to see everybody there. So with that, we'll all say goodbye. We'll get back into stuff. And everybody have a wonderful day. And hit us up in Discord if you got more questions. We're excited to chat. Take care, everybody.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, and we are out. Give it